this weekend, as we were just talking about with Dakota before she said goodbye, there is a big fight going down in Houston. It's a Misfits Boxing card. They've got another one, and the main event is very intriguing for the MMA fan base and also for the influencer fan base, because the influencer boxing fan base, that is, because we have Paige VanZant, the former UFC star, the former BKFC star, the former AEW wrestler, now crossing over into the influencer boxing scene against perhaps the most famous of the women's influencer boxers, Miss Elle Brooke. And they're going toe-to-toe, and the build-up to this fight has been very interesting. Misfits has done a great job of building it up. Their YouTube videos have been very entertaining, and there's been some back and forth, if you will. And so they're on the ground in Houston. They're going toe-to-toe on Saturday on DAZN. But first, they stop by this program for a face-to-face, if you will, a virtual face-off, whatever the hell you want to call it. They're both here, Elle Brooke, Paige VanZant. Let us say hello to both of them. There they are. Hello, guys. How are you, Paige?
What's up, Ariel?
Good to see you again.
How's it going?
It's going.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, it's been a while. It's good to have you back on the show. A pleasure as always. And Elle, nice to meet you for the first time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ariel.
Okay, well, this is a lot of fun. I appreciate both of you doing this. Sometimes fighters don't like to partake in these things, but you guys have been in front of each other a couple times now leading up to this fight. So we do appreciate it. Paige, we'll start with you. Obviously, you're the accomplished fighter. You have fought for, like I said, the UFC, BKFC most recently. When you were approached with this offer, with this opportunity to fight on this card against Elle Brooke, maybe a non-traditional fighter, if you will, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, so actually the relationship with Misfits started, I want to say like a year ago, is when I first got the call from my manager saying like, hey, would you ever want to do a professional boxing match? And I was like, well, absolutely. And they're like, all right, this promotion Misfits. They're, creating some steam. And I was like, sounds great. Didn't hear anything for a really long time. Of course, I was already preparing for boxing. It was just boxing with no gloves on. So then a few months ago, I got the call that it was finally time. So yeah, we're lacing up the gloves and going to war.
And did you feel like Elle was someone who was of interest to you? Did you feel like this was an opponent that was on your level, or did it take some convincing?
Really, I don't think about any of that kind of stuff. I know my most important fight is my next fight, because that's the one that's next. That's the one everybody's going to be tuning into and watching. Really, for my whole career, I've taken the opportunities that are presented to me, whichever one sounds exciting. I just do it. This excited me. Misfits got me excited. And it's an opportunity for me to show off how hard I've been working at straight boxing for so long, because when I transfer, obviously I've been boxing my entire career, but I've been dedicated to fighting straight boxing the last like 3 years. So it's just an opportunity for me to show off and have fun.
Okay, conversely for you, Elle, this is the biggest fight of your career. This is the most accomplished fighter that you've ever been matched up against by far, right? It's usually been influencer type of fighters, not UFC fighters. What was your reaction when you were offered this?
Yeah, obviously I had a great win my last fight against AJ Bunker, and it was only a week after I had Mams, my manager, ringing me up and like, oh, this is a step up. We've got another girl, but also Paige. And I didn't know too much about Paige. I mean, I followed her and I knew she was a fighter. I knew that she was in the UFC briefly, but I hadn't watched much of her stuff. So it took me like maybe a day, because it is a big step up. But then I was like, 100%, this is exactly what this space is. You need to take risks, and I want to test myself.
I feel, Brooke, like you have nothing to lose going into this fight. You're the one testing yourself. You're the one stepping up. I feel, and I'd love to get your response to this, Paige, in a moment, that all the pressure is on her. She can't lose to you because she's been in the UFC. She has fought the best of the best in her weight class. Do you agree with that assessment, Elle?
No, exactly. That's what I keep telling myself in preparation for this fight. And I'm not even in my own country as well. Like, I'm on your turf. You're the experienced fighter. You've got everything going for you. Like, I didn't even know what a jab was 2 years ago, but here I am fighting a former UFC star, BKFC star, so experienced. So for me, I'm like, hats off to myself, like just being in this fight in the first place.
What is your reaction to that statement, Paige? Do you feel like all the pressure is on you here to smoke her, to outclass her because you are the pro fighter?
I mean, yes and no. Every single fight I've had, there's this new element of like whatever the media wants to make the narrative, right? It's just another narrative that I'm going into it. For me, I'm training not like I'm fighting an influencer. I'm fighting a professional boxer. This is the first of many. I'm training to go in there and knock somebody out. Um, it's no different than the comparison I made is like fighting Felice Herrig when I fought somebody like her. She was like my quote unquote Goliath, right? It was somebody who I had looked up to for so long. I knew how talented she was. I knew how tough the fight would be. And I put the same energy into fighting somebody like her as fighting somebody like Elle. It's the same preparation, it's the same dedication. I'm going out there to fight a champion and then take a belt home.
What is your assessment, Paige, of her boxing skills?
Watching it, obviously she's had a few fights. She's had some good fights the last few, I mean, I guess 2 years. Um, uh, Honestly, she's tough, and I think that's what excited me about this matchup the most is we have the opportunity. I know every single one of my fights, my past two bare knuckle boxing matches, all of my UFC fights, you can definitely go in and watch and say they're not boring. I come with heat, definitely an aggressive fighter, so I know it's going to be really exciting. And I saw that in some of her fights. When she gets hit, she definitely doesn't shy away, and she's an exciting fighter. So I think it's an opportunity to really put on a show for Misfits.
Elle, I heard you say that you feel like she doesn't have the passion, the fire anymore for fighting. What makes you think that?
Because how do you go from being, in the UFC, arguably one of the biggest stages in fighting, like combat sports, to then going on to fight an influencer? There's a reason that, Mayweather does that. It's for money. I don't think it's necessarily for the passion anymore. You're doing it for the money. And like, who am I to judge? But I just don't think that you can necessarily say it's for the love of the sport because you are fighting an influencer. What do you gain from that?
What's your response to that, Paige?
I mean, I'm sad to say that you call yourself an influencer. I think obviously I see you in a higher light than maybe you do. I think you're a professional fighter, you're a professional boxer, and that's what I've prepared to do. I think it's a really interesting. It's hard for me to wrap my head around the conversation of why successful people, once they achieve success, choose to continue to be successful. For me, obviously, I've been successful my entire life. I'm turned 30 like 2 months ago. So it's not like all of a sudden you have like, a successful career in your past and then you just wake up and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do what I love anymore just because I was good at it and just because I made a lot of money. It's you do what you love because you love it. It's the same thing. Like once this fight's over, I'm going to prepare for the next and I'm going to continue to push on and do what I love to do. And just because I'm successful at it, it doesn't mean you don't love it anymore.
Elle, why are you putting yourself down? Why are you labeling yourself as just an influencer? Why is fighting you a step down for her in your eyes?
Because I am not a professional fighter. This is my first professional fight. Like everything has been, I think they call it like semi-pro. So, from this fight, I could call myself a professional fighter, but I am not on paper a professional fighter. I'm someone that fights other influencers. I have never fought a professional fighter either. Paige is going to be the first professional fighter that I would have fought. I fought people on reality TV, like Love Island, like Faith Ordway was on TikTok. They all have their different, what they're known for, and it's not combat sports.
Do you respect her right now as a fighter, Elle? Do you respect her skills right now? Do you respect not what she has done, but right now, do you respect her, the test and the threat that she poses to you?
I respect her as a fighter, of course. I don't necessarily respect the route that she's gone. I think that if she really wanted to, she could have stayed in the UFC and achieved much greater things.
So can I ask you to expand on that? What do you mean by the route that she has gone?
As I said before, she's gone from UFC, BKFC to now fighting an influencer. I don't know, in my head, is that because she's on a losing streak and she's just like, I want an easy fight? Is she underestimating me?
What is your response to that? She doesn't respect the route that you have taken, Paige.
Um, I don't think that maybe you can fully grasp, I guess, my career. Maybe you don't understand the whole pathway. Obviously, I was in the UFC for 6 years. I had the opportunity to continue to compete for a ton more money. So for me, it's the same job. I'm doing the same job. I'm still doing what I love. I don't need an organization's name to back me, and I don't need an organization to build me. I am the show. When I show up, I'm the main event. And it doesn't matter who I fight for. And I don't know why I would do the same job for less money.
Who is the A side for this fight, Elle? You or Paige?
I mean, technically, I am. I'm the champion, right?
Sure, but who is the bigger draw in your opinion?
Uh, in America, in Houston, Paige.
Not in Houston, just overall. This is going to be seen by people worldwide, right?
For me now, because I think that Paige has fallen off recently. I think that she's not as active on social media, content creation. I know that she does her podcast, but that's not getting tons of views. She's not in the limelight at the moment. This is a comeback from a couple of years, whereas I'm always in everyone's faces, whether it's controversial, right or wrong, I'm always here. So right now, I would say that I'm the most relevant, the deserved A side, I guess.
Have you fallen off, Paige?
You know what? My bank account doesn't think so. And for me, it isn't about social media. That was really just background noise to what I was doing in the UFC. I was doing what I loved. I was doing my job, and it happened to build up my social media to the point that it is. My goal in life is to just, do what I love, make a ton of money, and hope nobody knows who I am. But unfortunately, I'm in a career that's not necessarily an option. So no, I'm not as active on social media as a lot of these influencers, just because it's not what I love to do.
I'm just curious about that statement. So you want to do what you love and make a ton of money, but no one knows who you are? How is that possible? Because people need to...
that's the goal in life, right? Like,
Sure.
if you had the opportunity, would you rather be rich or famous? I would assume
fair.
most people would like to be rich rather than famous. It's a little bit easier of a lifestyle.
But in the world of fighting and all this, like, you kind of have to be famous to be rich, right?
Yeah, and obviously in this industry, it's an entertainment industry. I know that. But the nice thing is I haven't had to do too much quote unquote work. I just really, social media for me, I post when I want to, I share what I want to. It's just sharing who I am as a person. And thanks, shout out to my podcast. It's called The Kick-Ass Love Story. We are killing it actually on YouTube. It's been so much fun that my career and my opportunity has opened up so many doors for me to just do other stuff that I love to do. I get to sit around and talk on a podcast with my husband about fighting. Yeah, it's a good life.
And shout out to the great Austin Vanderford as well, who is a part of that podcast. Have you ever seen her podcast, Elle? And if so, what do you think of it?
I've seen her views and her clips, and they're extremely sad on Instagram. I think we have different levels of what we want to achieve on social media, because for me, anything like below 300, 400,000 is a complete failure, but I guess that's not the same for everyone.
I have seen you post some things about her relationship with her husband, like stuff that I think some people might be offended by. Why did you go there? Why did you, the picture with the dog and all that? Why did you take it there, Elle?
It's just an opinion. I'm here to make this fight as big as possible and to get as much views as possible. Paige didn't come to the Twitter space. She couldn't be bothered to do that. She couldn't even turn up for that. She went home on the second day in Houston. I flew out, I spent 10 hours on a flight each way, and she wasn't even there the second day. So it's what you have to do to get people interested.
I have heard Elle say this, that you have been promoting the fight. Is this fair? Is this criticism fair, Paige?
I am not promoting the fight as an influencer, I guess, as much as the influencers do it. I am used to a different type of organization where the UFC, you just show up to the UFC and you fight. There isn't really, I guess that, I am new to the influencer world. I'm not really sure what else anyone expects me to do. I'm here to fight. That's it. I have one goal, one job. Every single hour of my day is dedicated and time blocked to preparing for this fight and to preparing to win.
I know we're kind of just halfway through the week, but so far, what is your experience like with Misfits, Paige?
I mean, so far so good. They seem extremely happy with me. We have day full of interviews today, which is pretty normal for a typical fight week. It's new in the sense that the questions that you're being asked are not the questions obviously how you've prepared. It's a little bit different narrative, I think, just because it is like the influencer space. But for me, I'm I'm flexible and I'm just doing my job, show up, do what I'm told to do, and get ready to compete.
Did you see the picture that she posted about you and your husband? And if so, how do you feel about that?
I did not see it.
Oh,
The other thing is awesome. Team of people who work for me. I have like 4 or 5 people that run my social media.
I believe that
Super cute.
that is the tweet. Yes, there it is.
Yeah, and no, I actually stay off social media for fight week and leading up to something like this, just because I don't think it's relevant, and it's uh more important for me to just be staying in the gym grinding. But really cute edit.
Do you think you have gotten under her skin, Elle?
I mean, I don't know. I think I hope so. I don't think that's necessarily always the goal in order to do this, to get under someone's skin. It's to promote, hopefully get under someone's skin. But if I haven't, then I mean, she said she hasn't seen it, so I guess not.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because you said she didn't show up to the Twitter Spaces. She left early, so that would maybe imply that she doesn't want to partake in things with you.
Yeah, I think to me, number one, I thought it was rude because if you want to be in this space, this is what you have to do. When you took this fight, you probably thought, what it's about. Like, no, everyone knows what it's about, whether it's like Jake Paul or Logan Paul or KSI, people know. So to be like, this is new to me, I don't know how to promote this, I think that's a bit of a cop out. You don't have to always, bash your opponent, but post about it. Like, that's the bare minimum. And to say all I've been doing is training, well, me too, but this is what you have to do in this field. And if you want to stay in this field personally, you're going to have to get used to that. And that's something you're going to have to do.
Is this good advice, Paige? Do you take this to heart?
I think Misfits knows what they did when they signed me, and they signed me for a reason. They didn't sign me based on my shit talking, because obviously the majority of my career, I'm just not that person. I'm respectful. I respect the people I'm fighting. When I show up, I'm competing against another person. And I also know that the things that I put out on the internet and the things that I say will be there forever. And when I do look back on my career, I do not want to hate the person that I am. I want to look back and be proud that I was a martial artist. I did what I loved and I honored the sport. And that's why Misfits signed me. It's, I know my job and I'm going to show up and do it.
I did want to ask you about some recent statements, Paige. Speaking of shit talk, and I don't know if it was done on purpose or not, but some people were, I guess, fired up over your assessment of Ben Askren, that he wasn't a real fighter in that initial video. Do you still stand by that assessment that Ben Askren, a reminder, former Bellator champion, won championship, champion, Olympic, Team USA member, you called him not a fighter. So do you still stand by this?
Okay, so the comparison, that's one thing I have to learn about, working with promotions like this. Whatever you say, they are filming it and they're going to use it and push it. No, Ben Askren, incredible resume, especially in wrestling. The comparison was totally edited out of context, so there's no reason to speak about it again. But
Okay.
sorry if I hurt his feelings.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I appreciate that. Could I ask you about Dillon Danis? Because that got a lot of attention as well. How do you feel about that back and forth? You were quite fired up in that video. We don't usually see that side of you when you responded to him. How do you feel about the interaction? And is this ongoing? Is he still DMing you? Is there still interactions behind the scenes?
Honestly, Ariel, I don't like to kick a dead horse, and arguing with an idiot just proves that there is too. So
fair enough.
It's so stupid.
Okay, so you'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Have you seen this, Elle? And are you paying attention to all this drama?
Yeah, I mean, nobody controls Dillon Danis, so
That's it. Yes, it sounds like you're on Team Paige in this particular. Maybe this is the one thing you agree on.
no, I think Dillon, I think why he's acting now is because he knows that Paige is having a fight and he's doing everything in order to make it look bad, in order to bring views to this fight, because he's, he wants to get involved with Misfits and he already has been. So that's why he's doing it. I don't know whether it's personal or not. He's got a track record of bashing women. It's just what he does.
Yeah, some people I saw were saying that maybe you were, getting him to do all this to get her off her game, and that maybe he would walk out with you or something. Is any of this true?
and Dillon Danis is walking me out. But he just knows how to get views, and I support that. Good or bad, it's the influencer game. There's not a line, unfortunately.
I was just going to ask you that question right there. There is no line whatsoever at all. There's never a line.
No, I mean, my first fight, I had a girl expose my real name, and I like hid that for like 4 years. I think since then you thought, this is a different ball game. Like the fighting is all real, but everything else is just so crazy and like kind of in pantomime in a sense, but you just want to bash each other. It's just part of the game. And if you want to be a professional fighter in that sense, maybe stick to UFC. But this game is what it entails.
Is there any part of you, Paige, that when you hear that and you see some of the antics at the pressers and the weigh-ins that you say, like, I'm above this, that this is beneath me?
I just know that in my career, I've seen everything that I possibly could see. Of course, I understand the world of social media is full of haters and talking shit. That's just not who I am. I hold myself to a higher standard. And I'm here to do my job that I was contracted to do, and that is fight.
Speaking of contract, you signed a multi-fight deal with them, right?
I did, yeah.
And have they already put out a roadmap of if all goes well for you on Saturday, who they would want you to fight next?
I definitely have heard some rumors, but the most important thing, I'm prepared to beat Elle, and then go from there.
Could I ask who that next person might be?
No, you may not.
Okay. Or maybe you just don't want to answer it. I did see Killer B, Bean Wen, say that she has been told that if she wins and you win, that maybe they'll match you up. Is that a situation that has been discussed?
I don't know that for sure. I know she did approach me at our like last press conference or whatever. She said that she'd love to fight me, and she's really excited for me to, get the belt so she can fight me for it.
Would you be interested in that?
I'm interested in anybody, honestly. I know that Misfits is going to come with a line of girls ready to fight me, or maybe not after this fight. We'll see.
Okay. And Elle, for you, this would be a gigantic accomplishment. Is there any chance that you retire after this? Like, there's no mountain higher than beating Paige in this world that you'll be done?
I really, really want to see how far I could go with this. So no, I wouldn't retire. I would love to go like the professional route with boxing. If Misfits could facilitate that, I absolutely adore that. Whether it's like Southern area belt, British belt, and being a professional boxer. I don't know how long I would want to be like, oh, I want to fight MMA girls or other people with, the original different sport. So yeah, I just want to see how far I can go with this. And when I'm still enjoying it, it's not for the money for me. I would make more money doing other things and more OF and traveling and everything like that. But I'm stuck in the gym every single day. I'm really enjoying it.
Amazing. And I've seen you train and spar with the likes of Maisie Rose, who's an up-and-comer in the professional boxing ranks. So you are taking this very seriously. You're surrounding yourself with pros.
Yeah, I'm a professional camp, and I've always been with Mark Tibbs, and he's trained fantastic fighters and world champions. And I've sparred world champions. I was sparring Marie, and she just won. I can't remember what belt. I'm sorry, but it flyweight champions. Maisie Rose is amazing. I've even been sparring MMA girls because I'm prepared for Paige, not 100% being, orthodox. She might be a bit unorthodox, a bit awkward, a bit more MMA style. So I've become prepared.
I heard Elle say, Paige, that she wants to retire you on Saturday. Is there any chance that this could be your last fight?
No. Obviously, I signed a multi-fight contract. And yeah, I turned 30 2 months ago. So although I've had a very long career, I started extremely young, and it is nowhere near over. I will say this feels like, to me, the beginning of a new era, and it feels like day one. It's like I'm starting all over, and it's pretty exciting.
Is this the beginning of your pro boxing career? Meaning, do you also have aspirations to fight just regular women's boxers who aren't influencers?
I mean, yeah, going into this, I didn't see it as just fighting an influencer. Misfits called and was like, "Hey, here's an opponent. You want to fight?" And I said, "Yeah." Honestly, it is the beginning of my boxing career because it is my first professional boxing match. So
I just didn't know if you had aspirations to. So, are you done with MMA? Is that it?
Never say never, but I've dedicated since, of course, I was doing bare knuckle boxing. I really dedicated the last few years to straight boxing. Having a lot of fun with it. I absolutely love the team that I have in place at America Top Team, and it's just been fun. And I like to do fun things, and right now it's boxing.
And are you done with BKFC?
No, definitely not. I still have one fight left on that contract. And yeah, I definitely see myself. BKFC, they're just an awesome promotion to fight for too. They've done incredible things, and although yes, bare knuckle boxing and boxing are different, it's still in the same wheelhouse. So I feel like I'll be able to do both.
Elle, what's the prediction? How do you win on Saturday?
I think Paige is tough. I mean, she's used to taking elbows, knees in the face, but I think it's going to go the full 5 rounds of war with me on top.
Paige, what do you think? What are you envisioning?
I think it will be a very exciting fight, and I definitely know it is not going to the judges. So you just got to tune in.
I look forward to it. Thanks for doing this, guys. I appreciate it. Good luck to you, Paige. Good luck to you, Elle. Thank you so much, and we look
Thanks.
forward to Saturday. Take care.
See ya.
There they are. Paige VanZant, Elle Brooke. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.